How can I shiny hunt in PokeMMO? Now, this question comes a lot, and many people who want to get into shiny hunting are instantly put off by the odds. But don't worry, it's not as bad as it seems. Luckily, there's many different types of shiny hunting methods, and today we'll go through what's available so you can choose what suits you best. I'm J-Rated. Please do consider subscribing if you enjoy my content. Now, let's get into the tiers. Let me start off by saying that there is a lot of caveats and there is a lot of other details that I will be messing out because it can get incredibly complex when you start including abilities such as Intimidate, reducing the amount of encounters per hour that you can get during 5 times hordes, as well as other just, very niche specific scenarios or individual specific hunts. So for the sake of this video, I'll be keeping it as simple as possible and speaking in broad generic terms. Okay. Starting off with 5 times hordes, we're going to put that in S tier, that's right. We're going to put 5 times hordes into S tiers, the absolutely most goated way to start shiny hunting off as a beginner. It's the fastest, it's the most brain dead with minimal effort, and it's the least draining. You can expect to get around 1000 to 1300 encounters per hour at max efficiency, assuming you're using leper berries. If you're not using leper berries, it'll go a little bit more down depending on where you're hunting, but it's the fastest way, it's the easiest way, it's the least draining way, but it does come with its cons, unfortunately. You do get the least rare shinies from hordes. They're the least impressive ones, but remember, a shiny is a shiny no matter what. In the context of shinies, it will be the least impressive shiny, but it's still an amazing achievement regardless, relatively speaking. And lepers can also be quite expensive depending on where you're doing the 5 times hordes, but even though it was a pro that it was completely brain dead, it's just essentially 2 buttons really: sweet scent run, sweet scent run. It does also come with the con that is the most boring, because again, it's just sweet scent run, sweet scent run, and you're essentially seeing the same thing over and over and over again the entire time, and it can get actually incredibly draining. There is a slight caveat though that I do want to mention with 5 times hordes. If you'd seen my video on how I caught my shiny Larvitar, you'd have actually noticed how excited I was that I got the Larvitar, even though it's just a 5 times horde. Well, sometimes with 5 times hordes, they can actually be split with rarer mons, Larvitar being an example, or the Dratini in Dragon's Den being an example, with a 20% encounter rate, and there's different rates for different shinies. You can get lucky and hit the shiny one in the 5 times horde. So when you put everything together, the speed, the easiness, the chance of the rare, and everything all together, it's for me, I think it has to go to S tier. Like I said, on average, you can expect a shiny once every 30 hours, assuming no donator status and no shiny charm. But that's just an average, you're not guaranteed after 30 hours. But I think for me, S tier for 5 times hordes, it's an absolute guarantee, and that's where it will be. And next on the list, we have 3 times hordes. Now 3 times hordes, I'm going to put them in B tier. They're just not great really. Now I'm sorry if you believe in 3 times horde supremacy, but it's just not for me. Unfortunately, with 3 times horde, it has every single pro that 5 times has, but just worse, and every single con that 5 times has, but even worse. The only saving grace that it has is that it has an array of shiny mons that are just slightly rarer than 5 times hordes, but it's essentially the exact same method where you're sweet scenting and running, sweet scenting and running, and it's just, not ideal when you've got other options that you can go through. Obviously, there are some mons that are exclusively through 3 times hordes, such as shiny binary, which you have to go essentially through a 3 times hordes, or shiny rotes if you want to go through for that. But it's just 5 times hordes. It's not really essentially a different method. It's the exact same thing, just with less encounters. But again, it's still the far faster way to shiny hunt than the other methods that we're going to show through here. So I think it sits comfortably in the B tier. You can expect between 500 to 900 encounters per hour, assuming whether you're doing leper hunts, assuming whether you're using leper berries or not. But it's a fine way to shiny hunt. It's the second fastest way to shiny hunt. So I think it fits comfortably in the B tier. Next, we have singles. Now singles, I'm going to put that into the A tier. That's right. Now you may be asking, J-Rated, why are you putting singles in the A tier when 3 times is faster, but you're putting that into the B tier? There's a reason. Now let's just go through the pros firstly. Now when it comes to singles, you have the options of loads of rares. You even have the option of getting egg shinies, which we'll go through in a minute. You have the options of rare shinies. They feel satisfying. They're mostly free. You can do them for 3 without needing to pay for leper berries. And if you want to use laws are quite cheap, and there's the element of surprise. It's like there's a little bit of a gamble element. You don't know what you're gonna get. So all of the cons of, you know, brain dead, it's so boring. When you're doing singles, that kind of goes away because you don't know what you're gonna get. It's like a box of chocolate, you know, that common saying. You know, you could walk away with a shiny Quilava and get a shiny Typhlosion, or you could come away with a silly little shiny Geodude. I hate Graveler, you probably know this. Anyway, but there are cons to it, obviously, and I've mentioned some of them already. One of them being that you could phase a common or horde shiny. That is such an L. It's really annoying when that happens. You're doing singles, you've taken so long to go through the single shunt, which, by the way, it takes around 100 hours on average. You can get around 300 encounters per hour, which is a long shot away from 5 times, which is 1 to 1.3k per hour, and you can still somehow end up getting a horde shiny from doing the singles, which is like such an L. You can also phase a shiny that you didn't want. Your target shiny could be that you wanted to get, I don't know, a shiny you wanted to get a shiny Mr. Mime, and now you're walking away with a shiny Roselia, which is still, you know, it's still nice, it's still quite nice, but you can, you know, it's not ideal when you spend such huge amounts of time trying to go for a shiny and you get the one that you don't want. But by far, I feel like the biggest L that you can get from all of them is that when you go from 5 times hoarding straight to singles, it genuinely feels like hell. You've probably seen this clip that I'm showing here now that I used funnily in my Charmander video. That's genuinely how it feels when you go in 5 times. It's bow 5, bow 5, bow 5, bow 5, and then suddenly you're going to 1, 1, maybe 2. It just doesn't feel nice at all. It feels really inefficient. But all in all, it does have to go into the A tier for the options of shinies that you can get. Like, it's absolutely, you can get essentially everything from singles, and the gambling element to it feels amazing. It has to go into the A tier for me. Plus, I didn't even mention, you have the option of getting the shiny maybe not shiny roaming legendaries. I mean, it's possible, but you have the option of finding the shiny legend. Oh my god, I've done it again. You have the option of finding the roaming legendaries. You can find, if you're in Johto and you've completed the region, you've got the option of Suicune, Entei, and Raikou, depending on the month. And up in Kanto, you have the option of Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno if you've completed the Kanto region, which is just another amazing plus. You can also payday while you're doing singles. There's just a wide array of just positives that can come along with it. And for that, it might even go into A tier, but if we just concentrate on shiny hunting, we'll keep it in A tier and not S tier. But yeah, I think that's the comfortable spot for singles. Now, my beloved eggs. Now, where am I going to put my eggs? Now, I can see an example for them going in. I can see a world where they go into D, C, B, A. Definitely not S though. I think I'm going to put them into B tier. Yeah, I think B tier is appropriate. Let's start off with the pros. Now, the pros of eggs is that you can get absolutely everything from them. Like, you literally every single mon in the game that's breedable, you can get from eggs. You can, even if you want, you can go for a shiny Graveler, but do not egg shunt Graveler. Do not do that. But you can get everything from them, every single rare. You can get yourself the Blastoises of the world, the Charizards, the Porygons, the Kabutops, the everything. You can get them all from eggs, and there's also no chance of phasing. You're not accidentally going to hatch yourself a shiny Graveler when you're going for a shiny Blaziken, for example. You will get the Blaziken, you will get your target shiny with no phases. But that's where the pros stop. That's it. The cons are ridiculous. Starting off with the price, between 100 to 150 million Pokemon, ladies and gentlemen. That is not fun. Believe me, it's not fun. It's expensive. It's ridiculous. What an insane amount of Pokemon to go for a shiny. That's just the price. The time investment. Now, I can't even give you an estimate time on how long it can take to egg shunt. Like, genuinely, there's too many variables that go into it, such as how often you're making your batches, how quickly you're hatching your batches, how often you have enough Dittos, and that you're ready to, you know, start making your, like, there's too many variables to actually give an estimate time on eggs. But when you take into consideration the time investment, because it will take an unbelievable amount of time, believe me, you know, it takes an hour to make 600 eggs, and to hatch all of them, I don't know, roughly off the top of my head, from what I can remember, it can take you maybe up to, like, you know, the majority of the day just to hatch those 600 eggs. You can make between 600 to 700 per hour, and it will take you about pretty much maybe, you know, the whole day to hatch all of them. Maybe you can make 2 batches in a day, but you definitely will not be able to hatch 2 batches in a day unless you're staying awake for 24 hours. Eggs are ridiculous, but the pros are so insane. The fact that you can get these lore shinies like Charmander that have a 5% encounter rate in the wild, which will take you 20 phases, which if you try to single would take you on average, if we do the maths, it takes 100 hours per single, and you're going to need to do it 20 times on average to get the Charmander. It will take you, what, 2,000 hours for you to be able to do it through singles. Eggs are much faster. The standard guide that you should be following is that anything that is rarer than uncommon is better off egg hunted, but it's the absolute last resort that you should only resort to when everything else has failed. They're not great, but the pros are ridiculous, which is why I'm going to put them into B tier comfortably, I think, although I can see the argument for it being even A or C tier. Some might even put it into D tier, but absolutely no way they go into S. On to the next. These 2, I think I can just speed through them. We'll try and do it quickly. We have Safari Shunting. I'm sorry for all my Safari lovers, but this shit has to go into, I can't even want to put it into D tier. I'll put it into D tier. I can't lie, Safari Shunting, that is not for me. I've never completed a Safari Shunt myself, which is probably why I'm putting into D tier. I don't have the balls to go for Safari Shunt. I give insane respect to the Safari Shunters of the world. I can't believe how crazy you guys are. Now, a Safari Shunt is the same thing as a single Shunt, except it's much faster because you don't actually have to throw out your Pokemon. It's just much faster. I've got a graphic here. They'll show you this is how quick a single will take. An average single encounter will take this long roughly, whereas a Safari Shunt is just much quicker because you're not actually having to throw out your mon at the start of each encounter. You can just run away straight away. Now, Safaris, forget all the pros, and let me just make it really quick and very simple for you. The shiny can just run away from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, you finally found your shiny. It's taken so long for you to find it. It's like, oh my god, I found it. Oh my god, I found it. And then it just fucks off. it just goes. Like, what? Like, I can't do it. I cannot invest that much time in the Safari just for it to run away. I would be heartbroken. That's all I need to say. I don't need to go into the details, how long it'll take, all you need to know is that there are some mons that are better shunt in the Safari, such as Riolu, but just the fact that it can run away from you and there's nothing you can do. You just dash your ball and hope you catch it, and if you don't, there's a chance it could just fuck off. I'm putting into D tier. And the same thing I'm going to say for, well, it's not the same thing, but I'm going to put fishing into D tier as well for similar reasons. Not at all for similar reasons, completely different reasons, but I don't even know why I said this for similar reasons. They're not even similar. I think, is it D? It is still a D tier for me though. Fishing, it's just so much slower than singles. It's essentially one of the slowest shiny hunting methods in the game. I mean, from what I recall, it's around 180 to 220 encounters per hour. It's incredibly slow. You're not even guaranteed to get a a mon every time you use a fishing hook. You can speed up your encounters if you use chum buckets, but they're just really expensive. The only reason really that I can see for why someone would do fishing is there's 2 reasons. One, for Feebas encounters, it's, you know, like I said earlier, egg shunting is the absolute last resort, and Feebas can actually be hunted, but Feebas hunt is a it's a little bit of a special type of hunt. There should be videos on YouTube there'll be videos on YouTube that go through how that works. It's for fishing Feebas and Staryu when it's not nighttime. I forgot exactly where it is, but fishing I think has to go into D tier if you're exclusively using it for shiny hunting. I just want to caveat, all of these things that I'm saying is exclusively if you're trying to do shiny hunting. There's loads of reasons to fish, but if you're exclusively going for fishing, like I want to shiny hunt X, fishing is just incredibly slow. You don't really want to fish when there's other options. And there are a few more that I haven't included in here, such as fossils. Fossils aren't very far off eggs. They're essentially eggs, just a little bit quicker but more expensive. Essentially with fossils, you just pop all your fossils, hope you get the shiny, and if it's not shiny, then oh, you're gonna go straight into eggs. And they're just stupidly expensive. That's essentially the gist with fossils. And then there's honey trees, but honey trees aren't exactly, you know, a method that I'm gonna count in here because it's not really a shiny hunting method. It's just a, you know, a way you can get a shiny. But I think that's about it for the video. So yeah, that about concludes the tier list. Again, I just want to mention it is my personal opinion, or a lot of it is my personal opinion, where I decide I want to rank them. There are, like again I said in the beginning, there are a lot of things that I missed out on purposefully. There's a lot of little tiny nuances and complexities that I've decided to just air out for the sake of keeping everything simple for the newer players. If you did enjoy the video, please do remember to like and subscribe. It really is appreciated. Drop down in the comments where you disagree with me, because I promise you I have 100% said things that are completely opinionated that I know people would disagree with, and I would love to hear what your opinions are. And yeah, I was J-Rated. Good luck on your shiny hunts. I hope I motivated you to pick which shiny hunting method you wanna go for. And yeah, take care in a bit.